and the Lost Landers were used to even harsher conditions. Some were gathered around a brazier, brewing their thick black tea and talking quietly. Others paced back and forth, their heavy furs dark against the snow. It was the calm before battle. And Calidar was coiled around the pavilion, as immobile as if he'd decided to become a part of it. The dragon raised his head as they approached, his large golden eyes fixed on Cilarnen. "This should be interesting," and Calidar commented, lowering his head again. They went inside. Idalia was standing near the mirror, talking intently to Jermayan. She looked up as Kellen and Cilarnen entered, and her violet eyes flashed dangerously. Cilarnen was a high mage, born and bred. He had been unjustly banished from Armathalia, yet somehow managed to maintain his mage gift, and with it, a peculiar and painful sensitivity to the wild magic. This was the last place Cilarnen should be. "He believes he has a good reason to stand in the circle with us. I've heard his reasons, and I agree," Kellen said evenly. "I've told him it may kill him. He has still chosen to come." "Cilarnen," Idalia began. "Idalia," Kellen said gently, "no one is asking your permission." Idalia stared at Kellen as if seeing him for the very first time. Jermayan appeared at Idalia's side. Even in plain sight, even in a crowd of people, the elven mage could appear and disappear with a silent grace that owed nothing to magic, and everything to his elven heritage. "To know these reasons would make good hearing," Jermayan said quietly, putting a hand on Idalia's arm. "I think—" Cilarnen faltered to a stop and started again. "I need to be here, to help if I can." There was another silence. Idalia looked from Cilarnen to Kellen and back again. At last she nodded, not permitting, but accepting. "As Kellen says, it's your choice." "Stand where you like," Kellen said to Cilarnen. "I don't think it will matter." "I want you in the center with me, Kellen," Idalia said. "Come on, I'll show you." She took his arm and walked with him over to the space before Kindalinadettl's mirror. Her stave leaned against it. There was now an iron brazier set before it, one of the largest the elves possessed, filled with pieces of Naminar wood. On a square of cloth beside it lay a small herb bundle that would also be needed. The mirror was a perfect oval, as tall as Kellen was, set in a wide-standing frame. The frame was of a light-colored, fine-grained wood, intricately carved. But it was hard to say with what. Each time Kellen was certain he had identified an object depicted in the frame and the base, fruit and flower, tree and bird, it seemed to change. Was that a deer? Or a wolf? Or was it a vine? He gave up. But then he looked directly at the mirror. It was made of a single thick pane of flawless rock crystal, backed with elven silver, and the reflection it gave back was utterly perfect. Kellen hadn't had much time for mirrors lately. There'd been none in the Wildwood, and he'd paid little attention to the small ones in the house in Centaur Shadeen. Since then, well, he couldn't remember the last time he'd seen a mirror. Was this him? He was no longer the gawky, awkward, half-grown boy who'd been banished from Armathalia 2 seasons before. A child, ill at ease in his own body. In the mirror, Kellen saw a stranger. A man. And one he wouldn't want to face in battle either. Curly, light brown hair, long enough by now to braid tightly at the back of his neck. Gray eyes.